From Las Vegas, Nevada, we welcome you to the podcast Real Estate Talk with JC Castillo. And guest.
Good morning, Las Vegas. My name is JC Castillo, and we are here at the Equity Title Studios, starting one more time the Real Estate Show, Real Estate Talk with JC Castillo and his guests. And we are here in studio again. Today is Monday. I can't believe it's May the 18th. It's unbelievable. But we have a great team with us here today to talk about real estate, about what's happening in the market out there, and what's what motivates us as real estate professionals. So we're going to go ahead and do the introductions. We're going to go ahead and start with Carlos. Carlos, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. You finally got me.
Yeah, finally got you. Yes, and we'll talk about the backstory behind that. And we have Daniel here too. Daniel, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. So, if you guys could please give me first name, last name, company you work for, how long you've been in the industry, and what do you actually do in the industry, I would really appreciate it. And how could people get a hold of you?
All right, sounds good. My name is Carlos Ceballos. Mm-hmm. I'm working with Century 21 Americana.
Okay.
I've been there for many years. I have been holding a real estate license for 32 years.
Oh my.
Some of those years I didn't do much, but I would say up to 2008, I was one of the top producers for the company. Then, the collapse of the economy, then pandemic, all that stuff that I was kind of holding and not doing much, only few business here and there. But now I'm back full time again. And
nice.
I have the best support with my son, Daniel Ceballos. And we feel very happy and very hopeful that we're going to do very good again, because we have the knowledge. Like I told you, I got my license in 1993.
Jesus.
That's a lot of years ago.
Yeah, that's the year I graduated from high school in 1993.
Yeah,
but I did get my license in 1998, so I'm there with you with the amount of experience. Yeah. So yes. So Daniel, go ahead and talk to me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm Daniel Ceballos. I'm his son, and I'm also with Century 21 Americana, and I originally got my license in 1999.
Okay.
Did everything from being a loan officer, property management, and helping people buy and sell. And I haven't always been active.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I gave up my license in 2019.
Okay.
And I just recently got my license back in December of 2025.
Okay.
So, yeah, just creating a team with my dad and we're gonna work together and have fun.
Yeah. And actually, that's really what's all about, right? It's being able to understand how stressful this business is, because it's very extremely stressful. Not only for the buyers and the sellers, but as real estate professionals. We never talk about how stressful really is for us as professionals, right? Because we always have the stern face or the happy face and no, everything is fine, where the deal is crumbling behind the scenes, right? Our escrow officers are scrambling, your loan officers are scrambling, you guys are trying to put deals together. So it is a very stressful business. It is. Yeah. And to be able to be here, 30 years later, 28 years later, it makes a big statue of people understanding that you guys have figured out how to handle and manage the stress. Right. So talk to me about how you just really got sick of tired of the business and said, you know what, I'm going to go do something else. Because really, that's what happened to me too. Yeah. I got out of the title. Then I got my real estate license in '98 in California. I moved out here in 2001. In 2001, I transitioned to title and escrow. In 2015, I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm just got really tired of it and everything. And then I jumped back into it, 3-4 years ago. And you have to unplug sometimes to be able to become a better person, right, Daniel? Talk to me about that.
Well, in 2019, I don't know, something in me just decided that it just wasn't in it. My heart wasn't in it.
Right.
And I remember, at the beginning of that year, I decided that I was going to take a break. I had made a good amount of money. I had some money saved, and I didn't have to necessarily worry about money for a few months.
Yeah.
and I remember calling my broker and telling him, it was in July, a couple of days before my birthday. I told him, I'm not coming back. And he's like, oh, Daniel, you'll be fine. Just take a break.
Right.
I was like, no. And then I let my license expire.
Right.
And then I focused on other things. But like the whole, I guess you could say, having to keep up with the whole image of being a real estate agent, everything from like, wearing suits and having to portray this image of what a prototypical real estate agent should be and how they should act and how should they behave, what the image is. All that became too much for me, and I felt like it was kind of dragging me away from who I really was, And when that happens, you're not like yourself, and you're not vibrating like where you need to be.
Right.
I feel, and no matter what you're doing, it's not going to feel like that's what you need to be doing.
Yeah, it's not fulfilling.
It's not fulfilling for sure.
Yeah.
And so that's what I went through.
Nice.
I remember I put all my suits in the box, and I took him to my dad, and I told him, here, you can have these, because I'm never wearing them again.
Right. Now, Carlos, for you as a dad, first of all, and having him be with you since the very beginning of your career in real estate, how shocking was that to be able to be like, why are you stepping out of this, quote unquote wonderful career, right? Because you guys have built something so hard. I'm pretty sure it was kind of hard for you to understand and why he was making that decision.
I didn't understand in the beginning, and I was devastated and was in shock because he retired when he was on the top.
Right.
And I said, what are you doing? You're doing so good. What? And I always kept my license, even though I was not pursuing to do much, but I always had the faith that I was coming back.
Correct.
Sooner or later. So and then he said, no, I'm going to let the license expire. And I was so upset and trying to dig in his head and twisting his arms and everything. And he said, no, it's not for me anymore. And I was really, really in shock because why is he doing this when he's on top?
Right.
What happened? And then I told him, take a break, but he was determined that he was not, nothing for him. And what can you do?
Yeah, Daniel and I had a conversation last week. We actually met last week in person, and we had a great coffee top. I mean, we don't drink coffee. It was tea. We had a great conversation over tea. And I think that, and I told him, I said, I think you guys need to come to my podcast because I think this is something that we really need to talk about, right? Yeah. The real estate industry, again, we portray like it's such a happy-go-lucky career, and it is to a certain point. Because the amount of stress, because let's be honest, and the people that do not do real estate, you guys need to understand that we don't clock out between 8 and 5, right? We do not clock out between 8 and 5. Your mind keeps on worrying about transactions at 10 o'clock at night, at 1 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, because if it's going sideways, it is your responsibility as the real estate professional to step in and try to fix whatever issue it is, right? Carlos, talk to me about that part of it. And we don't want to scare anybody, but we just want to talk the truth.
It's very true that I still not very good at managing stress because the last few transactions we had together, Daniel has to calm me down. Because I feel like I was ready to fight.
Right.
No, tell that agent, not that. No, calm down. No, tell the agent that we need it now. Yes. Calm down. I already emailed them, I already faxed them, and don't worry, everything's going to be all right. And then I saw that he had everything under control, and he was very calm and very peaceful. Back in my premium years, I was always fighting on the phone with somebody, like you say, 10 p.m., 1 a.m., calling people calling me and screaming and stuff like that. And it was very stressful, but at the end, when you see that your clients are satisfied and everybody's happy after doing what we're supposed to do, you feel very relieved. And of course, making a nice living always helps. But the stress is something that you really need to learn how to. I discovered lately that I, even though I have all these years of experience, I still don't have nerve to stay calm in a stressful situation. I call the lender trying to yell at them. I call the escrow officer and, what are you doing, lady? Why are you having this? And he goes, Dad.
So what I'm gathering from this is that you guys, by you stepping away a little bit and refocusing your energy, right, Daniel, you have come into this relationship and this partnership as the balance of what needs to happen. Correct. Because let's be honest, right? The transaction is great when you have all parties working together.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful. I mean, you open the deal, we get the escrow, escrow handles everything, you guys handle the inspections. And I mean, it's a smooth deal. But those deals don't come very often. Correct. 90% of the time,
there's always something.
Please, talk to me about that.
Well, when we decided we were going to do this together as a team, first of all, I realized back in 2019 that money is not what's going to make you happy, and it's not going to satisfy you. And so when you accomplish these goals that you set for yourself, and you don't necessarily find that peace of mind that you had been thinking you were going to receive from closing these many deals, this and that, then that's part of what made me shift. Mm-hmm. And then those 5-6 years that I was away, once I finally decided that we were going to do this together, I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to, if we're going to be stressed out and anxious and frustrated, and then it's not worth it. Right. So in some way, shape, or form, we needed to be able to manage it I needed to be able to manage it in my head. I'm not going to get attached to the result. And my broker, Juan Martinez, had always told us this: do not get attached to the result. Don't get attached to the result. And so having that in my mind, don't get attached to the result, knowing that we initiated a transaction for someone with good intentions, and they want to buy the house, and the other person wants to sell the house, and everybody else around us is doing what they can to make sure that the transaction goes smoothly. I know not everything's going to always work out properly, but it also doesn't help if you're in a stressful situation. Yes. I'm over here calling you, putting pressure on you constantly, because you may have things going on that I'm not aware of. 100%. And it's like that when there's so many parties involved, So I know that there are going to be challenges, but really the only thing not the only thing, but what helps me kind of get through it is just having patience and knowing that if it's meant to work out, it'll work out. And if it's not meant to work out, it won't work out, but I can't hang myself on which one is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's great, because right now, everybody, again, we're all in a fast-paced world, right? I mean, look, COVID did a number in all of us, right? Yeah. Now people are so impatient that we could order our food. Think about this, right? Before COVID, we had fast food places where you walked in, somebody took your order, and you waited and they gave you the food. Now you're so impatient that you pre-order your food, you walk in and your food is already waiting for you. And if it's not there, people throw a fit. So, being able to take a step back, especially in this real estate world, which is, you guys are helping, and you guys are, really educating the buyers and the consumers and the sellers to do the biggest purchase of their life. Sometimes it's better just to take a step back, breathe, look at the whole scenario and say, look, this is not that big of a deal. We could get through it. But if we start throwing extra stress on it, it just creates a snowball. Correct. And then everybody's just really not going to have a very good time, right?
For sure. Because your personality, your attitude, your mindset influences the transaction.
100%.
And so if you go in confident, knowing that, anything can happen, but we're going to prepare because we've been preparing for years. Yes. We know how to do it for whatever comes our way, and just know that, okay, things might get delayed 2, 3, 4, 5, some days. Yeah. But for the most part, everybody wants to kind of just get it over with.
Yes, we want to close it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Carlos, talk to me about your many years of experience, right? You've had great transactions that have gone smooth, which I'm pretty sure you could count in a handful. The majority of them have issues, right? How can you explain to our consumers, to our people that are listening to the podcast or reviewing this podcast, how can you go ahead and tell them that really your experience of foreseeing issues coming up, right? like an appraiser coming in and not giving the full appraisal. We're not having that issue now, but before we were having those issues. How can you go ahead and foresee that and also come back to your buyer and say, hey, we might have this issue, but this is the solution that we're going to go through, because your many years of experience has given you transaction after transaction after transaction. So talk to me about how that is a huge part of how you guys are able to help buyers and sellers right now in this market.
Yes, what I think is that the experience always helps a lot, because you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly what the clients are expecting, and the goal of the transaction. That's very clear from the beginning.
Right.
But like you say, there are so many things sometimes that they go south, or they don't perform the way they're supposed to.
Correct.
And is when we need to show the professionalism and be productive and give confidence to the client that everything is going to be handled the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
I always anticipate and I always tell my client, it might be a little ups and downs here, but don't worry, I'm here to help you. And the whole team, everybody who is working on your transaction has the same goal as you. And I learned to be a little more confident and give people better ideas of what solutions to take when we come across any problem, because of the experience. In every transaction, you learn something.
Yes.
Every personality is different, and then you have to adapt to this personality or that personality and try to play in the middle like a three-ring circus master, trying to direct everybody and make everything look beautiful and smooth. But like you say, at the same time, sometimes you are swallowing all that stress and praying and hoping that everything will be all right, because it happened in the past. I have, in my long career, I have maybe 2 or 3 transactions that failed, and we were never able to close, even though everybody was trying so hard. It always happened.
Yeah.
And you learn from that too.
Yeah.
And that's what gives you the best tools to help people, especially people who come for the first time to the market. They need somebody who know exactly what they're doing or how to handle any situation, because otherwise, if you don't have the experience, you might give bad advice to your clients, and then things get worse.
And I think you mentioned 2 words that just stuck to my brain right now. One of them is the confidence, right? Unfortunately, some of us real estate professionals, we mistake confidence with cockiness, and we let our ego get involved in the transaction, and that's the worst thing we could do for a real estate transaction. And the other word that you say is we educate our consumer. If we're dealing with the buyer, we educate them about the processes. Hey, this could happen, and if it does, we have A, B, C to fix it. If it doesn't happen, then it's great. But you're preparing them for scenarios, because you guys have done that. Daniel, talk to me about how somebody could really mistake the confidence to cockiness and really bring your ego into the transaction and not be very helpful at all. Because when we're egotistical, we don't listen. Let's be honest. We don't listen. We shut down. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm right. You're wrong. And it doesn't help the consumer, right?
Yeah. Correct. I think one of the things is, like, say, for example, you have a listing and say you receive an offer. Right? And the offer is not what you expected it to be. Right. Maybe it's a lesser amount, or they're asking for closing costs. And then now, before you even present the offer, you're already upset at the offer because you think it's less than what your client deserves. But really, it's up to the person selling the house, to determine what they need, what they're willing to take for the property, and what they're willing to give in return. And so, I mean, it's happened to him. It's happened to me. I can see, like, sometimes when we send offers, I recently sent an offer out, and I could tell the agent called me. He's like, "Oh, my client's gonna kill me." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you sent it for $1,000 less than what we're asking for, and I just reduced the price $20,000 last week." And I was like, "Well, I hope it doesn't kill you. I hope you sell the house." But just kind of, like you said, ego, getting your emotions, putting them into, like, what I'm trying, how I want to approach it, or how I approach it is like, we're providing a service. We need to make sure that we provide a good service, and that includes having a good mindset, not, it's not just the process and the systems that we have in place.
Right.
It's also me being a good balanced person and being able to like not get emotional, not get frazzled, not get upset when things get difficult. Because if I'm in that state of mind, then an upset agent, is not going to help the transaction.
No.
Someone that takes offense is not going to help a transaction. I need to stay kind of leveled.
Yes.
And it's difficult because there's so much going on. There's so many people. There's so many people involved in the transaction.
Right.
But as long as you try to stay within balance, then I think you give yourself the best, I guess you say, the opportunity to like not get so stressed out and anxious, but also that translates into your clients. If they see you, that you maintain level head and like you're calm and you're relaxed no matter what comes. So like, oh, he's got a handle.
Yes.
Don't worry about it. But if you freak out, oh my gosh, this happened, then all of a sudden your clients watching you, they're not going to feel good about how it's going to turn out. So.
You know what? I think you just brought up a really good sequence of scenarios, right? We got to stay cool, calm, and collective. But it's not only for your sanity as a real estate professional, because let's be honest, after your day is done, right, where everybody thinks that a real estate transaction is done, your day is done, the banks close at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the title company closes at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you go home to your family, but you're still engaged with that one transaction. You're like, man, if I could have only done this, if the other agent would have done this, and you do not stop thinking about how you would have fixed that scenario or manage a situation, it eats up on you. It really does beat you down. And Carlos, I'm sure with your experience of many, many years, you've had those transactions that you probably lost a couple of hours of sleep thinking about how can I fix this, right?
Yes, the problem that I still have, and I recognize it, is that I get emotional sometimes because I know how personal.
Yeah.
This transaction is for my clients.
Correct.
I always put myself in their shoes, and that's why even though I know I have to keep professional, many times I get very emotional.
Correct.
And very defensive and trying to protect them from this and that. And Danny had taught me that everything is going to work out. Everybody has the same goal. Just we have to be patient. But because I know the emotions that are involved, I get in that boat too, and I get emotional.
It's not like a complete negative thing. It's a good thing to have someone that cares so much. You know what I'm saying? But yes, for it's one thing to care, but once it starts kind of affecting you personally, then that's when you have to kind of say, okay, it's a transaction. I still have a life. I have children. I have a wife. I have my own interests.
Yes.
I have to continue to make sure that I'm a content, happy person, so that I can do what I do for a living.
100%. And one of the reasons also I invited you guys here, I invited you, Danny, and for you to bring your dad, your business partner as well, is because we had such a great conversation last time, and you were sharing a couple of things from your life. And one of the things that you brought up was that during this period of time, because I asked you, so what did you do once you just like, I'm done with this, right? You were like, I hang my towel, I gave up all my suits, I'm and just to retract so people can understand, these two real estate agents were in a office with Juan Martinez. I personally know Juan Martinez, and his training is phenomenal. He trains you to do the old school way. You call, you door knock, you prepare for what you're gonna do day in, day out and everything. And once you're like, all right, I'm gonna shut that down, you now have another passion. So talk to me about your passion. Talk to me about the nonprofit that you have that is really behind you getting back into the real estate industry, because you've given some time to that, and now you got that going and you feel very good on that. And that, from what I noticed, is that energized you. And now we're, going back little by little in real estate and bringing that same energy, hopefully, to the real estate market as well with the same mentality.
Well, back in 2019, when I stepped away from real estate, I kind of just hung out for a while. But then all of a sudden, like towards the end of the year, this idea came in my head. And it was inclusion.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have a daughter with Down syndrome. She's 12. Her name is Bella.
Okay.
I have two other children, Evan and Adam. And Bella specifically, obviously, we had an experience where like she wasn't necessarily included because of her the Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And it sparked this idea in my head, not necessarily to go out and fight or make a big scene and go and argue, but more to be louder in the opposite direction, which would have been, if you're excluding, then I'm going to be louder for inclusion. And we created a nonprofit with my father, Bella's mother. And we started helping people in the community with Down syndrome, but then quickly we realized it couldn't just be for Down syndrome, autism, Bell's palsy, what else? Leukemia, homeless people.
Right. Anybody that is not. Yeah.
And so we saw a need for inclusion everywhere. Yeah. And we started doing things within the community, going out and helping people, raising funds to provide, just basic things that people need that are living in the streets.
Right.
And so that became more of the focus for a long time, for a few years. But in the nonprofit world, there's not necessarily a lot of profit, money and income profit.
Right.
And then once that money ran out, I was like, okay, if I'm going to keep, if I do have the intention of like keeping this up, I don't like asking for donations. I don't like asking people for money.
Right.
So if it's going to stay alive, it's going to have to come from me.
Right.
And so that's, I guess you could say, one of the reasons why like I decided to go back to real estate, because it's a way that I know how to make a living, but it's also an avenue for me to be able to raise funds to continue to do what I feel really satisfy my soul.
Right.
I don't know if it's a passion, but it's something that I do find very satisfying.
Right.
And it's not necessarily make a big deal or be huge, but just do little things here and there where like I feel I make a difference for maybe just one individual or a group of individuals.
Right.
And so we have the nonprofit. The legal name is Evan Bella Adam.
Okay.
Which is after my children, but the message is inclusion and then love and kindness.
Nice.
So because I feel that like if you have love for yourself and you're kind to yourself, now you can go and be loving and kind to others. And that's what I know we need more of.
You know what? I said earlier that COVID did a number on us, right? One of them was he made us all impatient and we want everything now. And, now you can order food to your home and it brings it to you and everything. Yeah. The other thing that COVID did to us was that. Open our eyes and really realize, you know what? We just got to be kind to each other. We just got to be, inclusive to each other. And I love this because, again, right, you and I were having the conversation last week, and I said, this is just so phenomenal because nobody really thinks about real estate. Everybody knows that real estate, you can make a ton of money and blah, 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 and everything. But when I heard that, like, you know what, I'm going to use my real estate side of what I'm doing to fulfill my personal interest, which is, to help all inclusive. I thought more like, I said, you know what, they have to come to my podcast because that is the perfect match, right? You're not only helping people put them in a home that never thought that they were going to buy a house, especially the Hispanic community. Nosotros los Latinos pensamos, nunca puedo comprar una casa, and then están comprando una casa. And now you're including that, hey, you know what, by the way, this is my nonprofit and I want to make sure that people know about it. I think that's really cool on your part.
I'm not necessarily using the nonprofit to kind of like put our, you know, but it's more like, okay, I'm going to focus on real estate and then the nonprofit is going to benefit. You
exactly, yes.
Because, yes, we go in with the same mindset of being loving and kind to ourselves and to our clients and the other people in the transaction.
Right.
And so that means more patience.
Yeah.
No more calling and yelling at them. Being considered that, like, okay, they know we're waiting.
Right.
Okay. They know we're waiting.
Yeah.
And like me calling them 2-3 times during the day, it's really not probably going to make a difference. It's only going to stress them out more and it's going to stress me out more.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because there are so many systems in place now, you know, with the lender, with the title company, with the escrow, you know, everything.
Yeah.
And so it's just more like kind of keeping, I guess, holding yourself accountable, but also reminding that there's accountability on the other side.
Of course. Yeah. And Carlos, by you listening to Daniel's, choosing of, hey, I want to be a little bit more involved with all inclusive, because I think that's really cool, because we have people that have handicaps that need to buy a house, and we have, and it's a totally different point of view. Like you and I were talking, now when you're showing homes, you have to look for a little bit of more of a safety scenario, especially when you have, this type of transactions. Like I was telling Daniel, I coach soccer, and one of my younger soccer players, his brother had autism. Mm-hmm. And I started involving him, and I said, you know what? Hey, if you're hanging out here for an hour watching us practice, why don't you come and practice with us? Mm-hmm. And he was just so happy to be part of something with like a normal group of kids. And I told everybody, say, you treat him normally. You don't treat him, you don't give him special treatment, because he just wants to feel part of something. Yeah. How do you feel having, Daniel decide this and saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and add this other layer of, tranquility to my life, and bring it to the real estate world as well, where, now it's a happy balance. Hopefully it's a happy balance for it. You as a dad, how does that make you feel for to have a business partner like that?
Well, to tell you the truth, I always feel proud of my son.
Nice.
Because he is a great soul.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I started forcing him to help me with real estate, he was like 16, 17.
Oh, wow. You've been around a long time, Daniel.
He was just helping me, and I was pushing him so crazy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, Dad, I don't want to go to that far. We already saw 3 clients today. And I said, Danny, we have to do what we have to do. And then
we used to fight.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We used to fight all the time. But then at the end, when I saw that he was trying to follow my steps and everything, I feel like I'm the superstar, but I saw that that's nice that he likes to do this, and then I realized that we have different styles, and I really like that, because so many times he put me on track again.
Nice.
Yeah, and sometimes I had to push him a little bit too, and then he go, oh yeah, you're right, we have to do this or that. So we help each other a lot, because our personalities are different, and yet we also have the same idea most of the time. And like I told you, the main concern is always the benefit of the clients.
Right.
Recently I had a transaction when I was freaking out already, and he was trying to calm me down. And the client, the seller, told me, is everything okay, Carl? I said, oh yeah, just a little delay in this and that, but everything is going to be all right. And she looked at me and said, I see that you are concerned about your 3%. And I say, not really. I'm more concerned about your 97%.
Right.
And then she goes, oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, thank you for saying that.
You know what? Sometimes having those conversations with people and saying, my vested interest in this, yes, I might look a little bit stressed out, but it's for your benefit, because they have the bigger skin on the game, right?
I was not concerned about my 3%. I was just thinking about this poor lady. She needs to go across the country to live with her son, and these people are
messing around.
I was so really concerned about her.
Right.
Danny was teasing me, like he said that, what do you say someday? Oh, you always, I think you always wake up and you go to sleep thinking about that lady, and it was kind of true.
Right.
No, I mean, I think about it too, but I also have it in the back of my mind that I don't want to think about it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to think about it all the time, and then I'll do things that distract me and stop me from thinking about it. Like, I continue to live my life, knowing that that's something that's going on, but also knowing that, like I said before, if it's going to work out, it's going to work out. If it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out, and it's for a reason. Sometimes things don't work out so that we can learn from why they didn't work out. Or maybe it was taking us in the wrong direction, or it wasn't meant to be. And when it does work out, then I guess sometimes you just have to be patient, because it's not going to be at like when you say all the time.
Nope.
Everybody's got to play in it. So
and you mentioned something earlier as well, Daniel, and I think Carlos could agree with this. We have not just the buyer and the seller involved in the transaction. I mean, let's name the parties that are involved in one real estate transaction. You have the buyer and you have the seller.
Correct.
Then you have the buyer's agent. Then you have the selling agent. Then you have the appraiser. You have the lender. You have the underwriter. You have the loan officer. You have the title company. You have the title officer. You have the title manager. You have the escrow officer. You have the escrow assistant, right?
You forgot the inspectors.
and yes, thank you. Right, we have the inspectors. We have, I mean,
and the neighbors.
Talk to me about those wonderful neighbors that come in and they just start talking like, oh yeah,
I heard this or this happened or they charged this for.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. El compadre. Yeah. Oh, mi compadre. He knows everything. He's done everything.
I know.
This is not the perfect time to buy because my compadre said. It's like, your compadre bought and sold one house in the 70s. He don't know nothing. Yeah, he don't know.
You know, I remember a really funny story. One day I was doing an open house. And then the owner of the house, it was an old lady, of course. She told me, Carlos, don't let that lady across the street come in because I don't like her. I would never even say hello or anything. I said, okay, don't worry. Go run your errands, come back in 2 hours, and blah, blah, blah. And then I put my signs, some flags and things like that. I have some fruit and cookies. And open house was going on. And guess who was the first person came to the open house? Across the street. And she goes, oh, you have an open house. I said, oh, yes, come in. I always want to see how she lives.
Yes. And let's... And
it's funny, you know.
And that's a great point because, you know, you do have those nosy neighbors. You know, especially if you've been in a neighborhood for, 15, 20 years. People really want to know what your house looks like. Especially if you don't invite them over for, for stuff, right? And you guys as real estate professionals, you guys has to stay professional within that after. You know, she did ask you, please don't have her come in, but you can't just say you can't come in because then you guys,
reliable.
Yes. And I actually sat down last week. Yes, last week I sat down at the Las Vegas Association of Realtors because they were having the new inductee. You know, when you get your brand new license, you have to get your post licensing classes. And I sat there and I sat through the fair housing laws class, 3 hours. I mean, when I went and I got my real estate license was in '98. Fair housing has totally changed. And you're right. If you do not let somebody come in an open house and take a look at the house, they could turn you in and you could be liable and you could be sued. So, your stance as a real estate professional is you have to be professional all the time with anybody. You cannot discriminate nobody, even if it's the nosy neighbor, right?
Correct.
Inclusion.
Yeah,
right.
And sometimes, you are put in situations where like you have, you're obviously either working for a buyer or seller, and they may ask you or make comments that kind of bring up those red flags in your head, but you have to you can't give into that sort of thinking. You have to keep your principles, your process, your policies in place.
Yeah.
And not let other people's opinions or comments or ideas or ways they see life kind of come in and influence you. You have to stay firm.
And that's a great thing because right now, like you said, right, we're trying to be inclusive. The communities are becoming a little bit more inclusive. We need to understand that what creates a neighborhood is that difference of people. Right? We have all kinds of people in a certain neighborhood, and that one makes that neighborhood unique. Right?
Inclusive, but also respectful. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like everyone can be included, but there still has to be a level of respect. You know what I'm saying? You can't come in completely disrespectful and and expect for. I mean, the inclusion is there, but there are going to have to be some adjustments made.
Yes, and I think that's important again, especially when people are buying homes in a homeowners association. Right? How many of you guys have, purchased or helped a buyer buy in a homeowner association because they walked into, you guys drove into the neighborhood and wow, the neighborhood is nice and clean. The yards are all maintained and everything. And then 6 months down the road, like, dude, I didn't want to live here, man. All these rules and regulations and everything, right? You have to understand that there's rules and, like you said, you have to respect the rules. You have to respect the boundaries of everybody, but also be inclusive. Correct. That is the cool thing about what's happening now in the real estate industry, that, we're more aware of what, if I say something, how's it going to offend you? How's it going to offend you? Yeah. Like before, we just didn't give. We just said whatever, and si les gusta, y si no, no. But now it's a totally different thing because our younger generation, they're really inclusive. You know, they're being taught from very little, from elementary school. Like you have to just accept everybody to a certain point. Like you say, it has to be a respectful manual. How do you guys manage that when you have somebody that says, I don't want to live in this certain type of neighborhood? Or the question is, what is the crime rate in this neighborhood? You guys can't really talk about that, can you?
Well, we point them in the right direction where they can get the information.
Nice.
And we don't step out of our scope of expertise.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we are the source of the source. So we tell you, if you're already concerned about that, there is a website, or you can go here or find out here and there, because you don't really have the statistics, but you can find all the information that is important for you. And that's what we do, guide them.
Right.
There's so much information online now.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody really wants to find out or know, it's so easy to pick up your phone or open up a computer and then do the research that you need to, ask the questions, and you'll get answers.
Right.
And but we don't allow for anyone to kind of pin us or put us in a corner where like we're going to be having to, defend ourselves.
No, and I think, and again, I think that's great, because we've talked a little bit about how, stressful this job is for the real estate professional, right? We always talk about, oh my God, it's so stressful for the buyer. Oh my God, it's so stressful. No, but you guys as real estate professional also have a, set of boundaries, and also have a set of rules that you guys cannot break. And, there are liabilities out there and everything. And for you guys to really understand that and be able to say, look, you know what, I cannot discuss that, but here's the website for you to check this out. You could figure this out right here. You could do a lot of research nowadays, like you say, Daniel. But staying in your lane is so important. Having a partnership with a good lender as well. How important is that for you guys, for your clients? Because I'm sure that your clients that are working with you guys, they want to work with you guys because they're either repeat clients, they know of you guys, and they like you guys. Otherwise, they wouldn't be working with you guys, right?
Correct.
How important is for everybody to stay in their lane? Your lender, the title company, the escrow company, everybody stay in their lane to make sure that we provide a great service for your consumer, and hopefully they get the key on the end of the transaction.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's definitely important. You have to have a good team. A lot of the times when somebody wants to buy a house, they don't necessarily know where to start. So you have to make sure you provide a good list of different lenders. You have to be prepared to have see what fits. You want to be able to say somebody doesn't speak English.
Right.
You want to make sure that you provide a list of lenders that speak English and Spanish.
Right.
So that everything goes smoothly.
Right.
You want to make sure that the lenders that you have on your list are professional, that they provide good service, that they can get the loan closed, that they can help the transaction along, that they're available.
Right.
Okay. You don't want someone that disappears or doesn't return their phone calls. Yeah. Okay. Because all that all that is a vision of your business.
100%.
So, people come to you with an expectation that you're the professional and that you're going to guide them in the right direction, and that your team is solid. So you want to make sure that they really are.
Right. Carlos, I know you're shaking your head, but how important is to really find, because if you're many years of experience, I'm sure you've gone through, your fair share of loan officers and your fair share of title companies and everything. And it's probably good at the beginning, and then something happens and you have to go and refine a new partnership and everything. How important is for you as a real estate professional to identify this is helping my business or is not helping my business, and I have to make a shift?
Oh yeah, that is something that you must be totally aware of, who is the best member for your team. Like Daniel said, if we have people that speak different languages, make sure that everybody involved is going to be able to, is going to be able to communicate with them. I have a transaction many years ago when these people called me and they wanted to buy a house. And then I told them, okay, this is what we do. And I started explaining them the steps, where we start and everything. And then he started me say, okay, Carlos, I don't want anybody else involved. I only want you to do everything for me. I don't want to go to see a lender. I don't want to, and then I had to, I said, okay, let me explain you step by step how this works, because I'm not going to be the only one involved in your transaction.
Right.
And like you say, I have to make a list of all the people who were going to be involved, explain to them step by step what everybody was going to do, and then they understood.
Right.
And I felt so happy because these people were totally unaware what really was involved in buying a house.
Right.
We were able to put in the house, of course, and they were super happy and refer some people to us.
Right.
But it's because of the knowledge you have, the team that you have, and that make sure that everybody who is on your team has the education, the level of honesty, and
work ethic.
The work ethics, because it's very important. There have been cases when people just jump in the industry for the money to see how much they can get. They don't care of anything.
And we've been through that. We had our situations where like somebody in our family gets a loan officer license. And then now and it's like, and it's difficult because now it's. But I think the main thing. One of the things that I told my dad when we decided that we were going to team up again and start doing real estate was education. Like educating the client. Like giving them as much information as possible to because I feel like it's a better impression, it's a better transaction, it's a better process when the other person has access to all the information they want. Not to say that everybody wants to know everything that's going on, okay? But if they want to know everything that's going on, if they want access to that information, the process, the steps, everything that's being done, they have it right there. We're willing to give it to them. We're not going to gatekeep. We're not going to tell them, like only feed them little bits, so that we keep them in ignorance and they always need us. As a matter of fact, when you mentioned that, it reminded me, like my dad is so good at providing information and communication with the client and being so transparent as to what's going on that a few people that he sold a house to or helped sell a house have been inspired by him to get their license and become real estate agents.
Good for you.
That's true too. Yeah, I forgot that part.
And so for me, if we can do that, if we can provide that level of service to where we educate and we inspire the person to be able to like maybe do it themselves, because it's very feasible. Anybody can be a real estate agent if they want to, and they put their mind to it. And it could be a big shift in lifestyle.
100%.
So if we can provide that level, continue to provide that level of service of transparency, of education towards the client, I think we'll be off to a good start.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I was at the LVR just last week talking to 110 brand new real estate agents, and the average right now, because I did talk to the LVR, and LVR is the Las Vegas Association of Realtors. I asked them, I said, what is the average of brand new agent you guys get? And they're like, dude, we get between 85 and 130 agents every single month, brand new like licensees. And I'm like, that's a ton of agents. No wonder we're 19. You guys have 19,000 agents. But you're right. If you do your business right, if you handle your transactions correctly, you're setting the standard of people and saying, I want to be just like them. And I always tell, and when I was talking to that group of agents, I said, you guys need to understand that your title is not, I am just a realtor. You guys should be the real estate consultants, because really that's what you guys are. You guys are consulting your experience, your transactions in the past, telling them, hey, this is what I've seen, this is what we've done and everything. But at the end of the day, the buyer and the seller are the ones that are making all the decisions. You guys are just consulting. You guys are just like, hey, I'm bringing my expertise and this is what we've seen in the past. But at the end of the day, you are, and when you motivate somebody, it says, wow, they made the transaction so easy. I think I could do that. That is an applause for you guys, because you guys have made them feel so comfortable and say, you know what? Wow, that was really smooth. How does that make you feel, Carlos, and your many years of transactions, saying, you know what? Yeah, you motivated 2 or 3 people, and hopefully you did change their lifestyle.
Yeah, I felt very happy about that, because even though the transaction probably were not smooth.
Right.
But these people were inspired to see how everything was handled, and then they felt like, oh, I can do that, and it looked very nice, and
Right.
and they became really, really very good agents.
Nice.
I saw one of them maybe like 3 or 4 years ago,
Okay.
and he was still in business and doing really good.
Nice.
And he always told me, oh, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this, because it never crossed my mind that I can do this.
Right.
And you know, it's a satisfaction that instead of having people that you have to hide, oh, these people is coming over there,
Yes.
let me hide because I did something bad for them. No,
Correct.
I always feel happy to find people. Now with the social media, you know, I have people who have been my clients from day one,
Right.
and we still communicate and stuff like that. And
Right.
and they call me once in a while. Oh, Carlos, I have a consult this, da da da, or oh, I have a friend who needs help, da da da. And it is very, very nice to have that.
Yeah. No, and that's really cool because again, right, you're building a community, you know, and we talked about that with Daniel last time. You know, right now in days, social media is about communities. It's about, you know, making sure that, you know, you're taking care of each other, you're being inclusive and everything. And your social media came up what we were talking about, and you know, I actually came in and started watching it, and your guys' social media is really good. So, you know, can you guys give us your social media so people that are listening and want to start really following you guys, how can they find you guys? Because it's educational, it's you know, it's transparent, it's making sure that you guys are learning, you know, this many years of career you guys have done. You're like, you know what? Why are we gonna, you know, hold the information here close to our chest? It's like, no, you know, we put it out there because it makes your job so much easier, right?
Yep, exactly.
So, okay, first it's carlos-ceballos.com is the website.
Okay.
And it's still a work in progress. I still have to take, like, say, a lot of the inclusion and love and kindness aspect of it that I had on a different webpage and integrate it, and then my own thing. So right now what we have is a website, carlos-ceballos.com. And as far as social media goes, I think, what's your social media on Instagram? Carlos L.
Ceballos.
Carlos L. Ceballos.
Yeah.
And my social media on Instagram, I don't necessarily talk about real estate much. I talk about other things, so I'm not going to put that one in. But if we go based off the website, then all the information that anybody needs to be able to go get a hold of us, or even information if you want to, like, kind of just take a look to see how much your monthly payment would be on a certain amount. We have a mortgage calculator on our website. If you need more information, resources as to what the buying and the selling process is, we all have all that information on there. And then we also have our phone number, email address if somebody wants to get a hold of us. But there's also creating a bio so that people can, we're not just real estate agents like you said, we're regular people. And so I see value in showing ourselves to the client, to the buyer and the seller, so that if, you know, hey, I like that Carlos is an artist. My dad's an artist. He paints. I like his painting style. Like, you know, maybe I want to be a collector or whatever. Sometimes different things appeal to you about somebody else, and they cause you to, like, have a connection and maybe want to work with those people. And we're not necessarily looking to have 20, 30 transactions closing on any regular month. That's too much. That's too stressful for me. You know? We want to, like, be able to provide a good level of service. You know, be available for the clients, but also keep our peace of mind and be able to enjoy our life. So
100%, Daniel. And again, right, I keep on going back and saying there's really two worlds, one before COVID and then one after COVID. And I think that after COVID, yes, we all went through everything. I mean, the whole world experienced it all together. I think now even the clients are more aware of, Daniel, Carlos, you guys have a life outside of real estate. Go be with your family. It's not so demanding like it was before, right? I mean, I remember when I started it, you know, birthdays, forget it. I was showing homes. You know, Mother's Day, I was showing homes. You know what I mean? That's because the weekends is when everybody showed homes. Now people are more willing to, like, you know what? I'll see it through the internet. You could walk through a house in a 3D, you know, through Matterport, right? You could view the house before you even leaving your home. All of that gives the consumer the ability to say, you know what, go enjoy your family. Hey, it's your anniversary. Go and enjoy it. We'll deal with my stuff. And I think that level of respect of, the professional, the boundaries. Yes, I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
Those boundaries are more noticeable now because they like you guys, right? And like you said, social media is not so much about, hey, here I am dancing. I teach a social media class. I'm like, you're not doing TikTok because you're dancing. You're showing people your interests. You're showing people what you like. If you like dogs, you like dogs. If you like, playing soccer, you like playing soccer. If you like painting and everything, you're creating a community that says, you know what? I like Carlos because he paints. He understands me. He knows what I'm pretty sure he sits there and when he's painting, he just clears his whole mind out. I understand that. I want him to be my agent.
Correct.
I want you to be, you're inclusive in it. So am I. I want you to be and that shift in the last 2 years has happened in social media.
Correct.
So it's very important for people to understand that, you know what? We want to do business with people that we like.
So we're not back in the day. I think we were trying to convince other people we're your agents, call us. Now it's more like you need to make that decision on your own.
Yes.
And if you see us as the people that you want us representing you in the transaction, and you're convinced because you know us and you can see what we're like, then that's who we want to work with. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't necessarily want to make our life difficult by forcing a connection and trying to close a transaction just for the money. We want to be able to help the people that we know we can help, that want us to help them.
Right. And you and I talked about it, right, last time, and you said, that's what we're done away. And if you look now, unless you're a professional like an attorney or something, everybody else is business casual.
Correct.
Right? Because now you're really showing who you like.
My dad, he's always looking sharp.
Yes, that's right. Carlos is looking very sharp.
He's dressed down a little bit.
Really? He usually wears a tie?
Yeah, he's a very handsome guy.
Very good, very confident with a tie, but he's saying, no.
No, I let him dress on you because I want him to let me dress. I feel very comfortable in relaxed pants and tennis shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't want to necessarily be like feeling uncomfortable, so I don't want him to feel uncomfortable.
No, 100%. But you're right? And the way that you dress is how makes you feel confident, right? This is something like, I wore suit and ties for many long time. And now I wear t-shirts and a jacket and jeans and everybody I remember the days when I said, you know what? Honestly, I work my ass off to not wear a tie anymore. Yeah. If people want to do business with me, it's because they know the type of person that I am and the type of business that I provide. A suit and tie is not going to make the difference. But for some people, no, I still feel confident wearing a suit and tie.
I'm old school.
You're old school. No, that's good. And I think that this balance is helping, right?
Yeah.
When somebody decides, hey, I want to go buy with Carlos or I want to go buy with Daniel, you guys are getting 2 real estate professionals for the price of 1 if we really think about it.
Basically,
right?
That used to be our gimmick back in the day. He used to be like 2 agents for the price of 1, 2 agents for the price of 1,
right?
For a long time.
Yes, yes. So it's really important for people to understand that personality-wise is more important now than how many homes have you sold in the past, because we all know, and you guys know who you are, and I won't mention any names, cabrones, but there's a lot of professional real estate agents that treat people like crap. 100%.
It's just a
numbers game.
Another transaction.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
You say there's 8,000 agents coming into the business, into the industry every month, but how many of them survive?
That's the thing.
Because unfortunately, many people go through the schooling and the test and everything, and they expect that it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the first transaction, they totally collapse and they quit.
Correct.
Some people are never able to do anything because they don't know how. Their personality doesn't help.
Right.
For us to survive all these years, it's kind of an achievement because we've been through so many markets, so many different clients. The real estate has changed a lot. It's always basically the same thing, buying and selling property. But the laws, the technology, so many things are so different these days. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. And like that's what we were talking before we came in the air. The real estate process has not changed. It's the systems that change. I mean, when I started in 98, we didn't have an MLS system. I remember every Tuesday morning we were at the meeting because the Association of Realtors will send out a runner with a book like this with all the listings coming up for the weekend. Do you remember that? Now you go to Zillow and you go to all those websites, and I mean everything is there. So the systems have changed, but the core of real estate has not changed, which is what? You have a buyer, you have a seller, and it's your job to try to find somewhere in the middle and put a deal together, correct?
Exactly.
Yep. Well, boys, you're not going to believe this, but the hour is gone.
Now that we were having fun.
I know. So here's my thing to you guys. I would love to invite you guys for another episode. Sure. So we could continue this conversation. I thought it was phenomenal. I think it was great. I think you guys have provide good service to your clients. That's what you guys have longevity in this industry. I was looking at your license number and it starts with a 0. I don't want to say your license number, but it starts with a 0. That is a long-term real estate agent. Because I think now we're starting with like a number 3 in front of everything. Exactly. And there's like 7 numbers behind it. So
you made me think that I'm like a vintage.
No.
Very old, but it's still attractive.
Yes. So again, if you guys want to give me your information, your contact, how people could get a hold of you, and one last little quick tip before we sign off, I would really appreciate it. We'll start with you, Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos Ceballos again with Century 21 Americana. My phone number is 702-493-3029. 702-493-3029. You can call me anytime.
Awesome.
And my name is Daniel Ceballos. I'm with Century 21 Americana. And my phone number is 702-493-3029. Call my dad.
Call your dad.
He's the one that answers the phone. I'm doing everything else in the back.
That's awesome. Yes.
No, but I mean, you can call me too. 702-502-4186. Text if for some reason I don't answer. And then you can check out our website at carlos-ceballos.com. All our information is on there. Find us on Instagram. I'll eventually put the links on the website. Right. It's a work in progress. But yeah.
Cool. And then one quick little tip before we sign off. Daniel?
One quick tip would be, it's not even necessarily real estate related.
Yeah, please.
It's just, honestly, to not be afraid.
Okay.
Because I relate a lot of the things in life to either you doing them with fear or not doing it with fear. And like at times when I've been able to overcome fear, it's helped me grow and it's helped me see things in a different way. And a lot of the times when I see things with fear, then it's prevented me and then stopped me from going in a certain direction. And so if you individually as a person can kind of set fear aside from what you do or your intentions, then I know that you'll have a better chance to be successul.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Carlos, last little tip.
Mine is very similar to him. I was just thinking about that. Many people think that they cannot do it because sometimes the task is overwhelming. But if you have the right team, the right help on your side, everything can be achieved.
Yep. Very cool. Well, my name is JC Castillo. I am here with Equity Title. And please remember, you could get a hold of me outside of the air at 702-416-4302, 702-416-4302. If you like the show, give us a thumb like. If you don't like it, let us know why. And we will definitely adjust. Don't worry about it. Like I always tell people, please remember, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Seller, you guys have the right to choose the title company. So if you guys want Equity Title to close your transactions, we could go ahead and do that for you. And one more thing. Please take care of each other. I love what Carlos and Daniel's message is let's be inclusive. And you could get anything done if you put fear aside. So I really appreciate that. We'll see each other on the next episode. And we'll we'll still be around until next time. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.